Hi everyone, I'm here with my daily video, and this is the second video in a series that is discussing planning as it has to do with academic achievement. I started this series in my last video because there had been a number of people who had commented and also contacted me directly asking me for tricks and tips about how to do planning for the purposes of transitioning from the summer months to the school year, since a lot of people are now back in school. So what I have to share with you in this video is going to be tricks and tips for planning that are great for school planning or for students. We're gonna look at planner pages and we're gonna look at planner stickers. And I'm going to show you some ideas that have been really helpful for me as I've done planning. I mentioned in my last video that I have had a long time sort of a struggle, I guess you could say, with managing things like ADHD and learning differences, specifically dyslexia. And so planning has been incredibly instrumental for me to be able to, even though I have all of those certain challenges, it's been helpful for me to still go all the way through college and get through graduate school and feel like I have been empowered and that I can kind of handle academia and not feel overwhelmed. That's a little bit of like my spiel that I always do at the beginning of every video, and if you're interested in seeing and hearing about some tricks and tips for planning that might really help you with your own academic achievement or enable you to help someone else with their academic achievement, then I invite you to stick around for this video, and I am excited to just get started. So let's go ahead and watch the video. So this is a little bit of where we left off in the last daily video. We stopped right about here, that I said in the last daily video that this was a good stopping point to stop at the point on Tuesday where it said Tuesday is a great day to do something called a progress check on yourself, a little bit of a checks and balances on yourself, so that you could look back at Monday and see if anything was left open that you hadn't done on Monday, some essential sorts of things. Like, for example, Monday is a great time for you to do things like record projects and weekly assignments in order to be prepared for all the things that you want to do in the days that follow. Something that I didn't mention yesterday, a great, really just a great tip, is to take a paper clip. This is a decorative one. This is my daughter's paper clip. It looks like Rainbow Bright, and we call her Rainbow Girl. We call my daughter Rainbow Girl, but she got this in a Happy Mail sort of delivery from someone in the planner community. He was very generous and kind, and so I borrowed it from her. But something great to do on your planner pages is to get a decorative sort of a clip or something, and then to move it from day to day as you are going through the week. And the great thing about having a clip to mark your day is that it will hold your place. So it will hold your place when you kind of open your planner. And then because this is kind of directing your attention and serving as a visual cue, it will allow you to find your place on your planner pages really, really quickly, because it's noting the day, it's directing your attention to the day that you should be focused on, like the current day. So that's a really kind of quick and easy tip that I found to be helpful in my planner when I'm using something like a large scale kind of a planner. And this is a happy planner that is otherwise kind of undated. So let me move this out of the way so that you can see this a little bit better. Something that I did not point out yesterday, only because it was really hard to show you, is that these columns here are actually color-coded. I very lightly colored each of these columns so that this is tinged kind of blue, green, yellow, orange, and then red, and then this was kind of tinted because it just kind of came that way. One really, really good thing to do when you're doing planning is to do something like color coding, or in the planner community this is also called doing a rainbow week, where one day is just one color. And so then when you go through week by week, every time you see a certain color, you always know green is always going to be Tuesday, yellow is always going to be Wednesday, and so on and so forth. You can go in rainbow order. You can mix up the colors if you want to, but it's a really, really great idea if you do something like a rainbow week where you designate certain days to be certain colors, just because you will eventually kind of condition yourself to remember that the green day is Tuesday, and so you want to do these certain things on the green day, which is Tuesday. Another great thing that I really like about doing a rainbow sort of a spectrum visual organization is that blue is kind of a cool color, and blue being kind of a cool color, being on a Monday that can feel a little bit kind of chaotic sometimes, something that I don't know if you've ever heard of before, but color actually has a physiological effect on us emotionally, or even just with our mood. And studies have actually proven that being exposed to certain colors or seeing certain colors, it can actually influence you. So by putting blue on like a Monday, it's kind of like a cool color, so it can actually help. And this sounds really, really bizarre, but it can actually help your emotional and like kind of mood response to Monday, to feeling like, okay, we're cool, we're like starting out the week, we're in a good place, and we have until Friday in order to be fully prepared. If you look at the rainbow spectrum and it being blue and then green, which is still actually a cool color, and then it starts to transition to warm, and then even warmer colors, and then to red. Red is classically and symbolically a warning kind of a color, or like a stop sign. Then you have orange, and then you have yellow. Yellow is very classically kind of like a yield or like a warning sign. So by starting out with blue and then having it turn to kind of green, like blue, we're cool, we're good to go. Green means go. So like if you did everything that you should have done on Monday, then we're good to go here on Tuesday. But then once you get to yellow, once you get to like Wednesday, when you see the color yellow, that can be a little bit of like a yield sign, like, hey, we're halfway through the week, so this is a little bit of a warning that anything that you might need to get done for Friday, you might want to do here halfway through the week. Or it's just a little bit of just like a halfway point that allows you to visually see that you need to kind of like slow down a little bit in order to fully prepare yourself for the end of the week. In my own experience as a teacher and a student, I found that there are usually a lot of due dates and things that occur on Fridays. And so having red be a Friday is kind of a clever way to kind of cue your mind so that when you see it, you know, okay, red really jumps out at you. So you know as you get closer and closer to the red day that that's a day that you really need to kind of pay attention to. And that color transition from yellow to orange to red can really help you to visually kind of read the page quickly. And it also, because like I said, colors have symbolic sort of meaning and influence on you. So seeing that red there can really help you to just know like, hey, we're almost to like the red day that you need to stop and you need to do certain very important things like turn in things or take a test. Or it could be a really positive thing like, you know, it's pizza day or something. So those are just a few things that I wanted to point out that I didn't get a chance to point out in my last daily video. Something else that someone mentioned in the comments of the last video is they had said that and they're currently in college overseas. Hi, Astrid. That's actually who left the comment. They had actually said that nobody ever taught them how to do something called chunking, which means taking a much bigger and more complex sort of a problem or an assignment and understand and know how to break it into smaller pieces. I have a whole video that I'm going to do specifically on chunking. I did kind of show you a little bit of an example here just visually, and I'm going to talk about that very, very briefly in just a moment. But I do have another planner that I set up. This is one that I designed myself, and this is available in my Etsy shop just because I found that from working, just being a teacher and being a student myself, previously in my graduate studies, and then working with students doing tutoring and things, I found that I needed something that looks just like this. So I designed this myself. This is a little bit of an example of a breakdown of chunking, like taking certain assignments for different content areas, and then my suggestions for how you can break those things into more bite-sized, more manageable sorts of pieces, like essay writing and the different steps that you take to do it. We won't talk about that in this video, but I did want to give you a little bit of just like a preview of kind of what's to come, since Astrid did kind of raise the question, or since Astrid did point out that the whole skill and just process of doing something like taking a big assignment and breaking it into smaller pieces is not something that she'd ever been taught before, and that's something from talking to students that I've learned is definitely the case. So we are going to talk about that, but not necessarily in this video. So sorry, we got a little bit off course. Getting back onto Tuesday, so we stopped here for the kind of check progress. We talked about color coding, we talked about color coding and just how color coding works in order to lead you through to Friday. What you see here on Tuesday on this green column is you see a little bit of an example of chunking, like what I mentioned here in this, but I didn't go into great detail just because I wanted to show you an example of what a sample kind of week might look like in a student planner. And this is, like I said, the Happy Planner that's undated. I wanted to show you something that was a little bit easier to understand because there would be like less on the page. So I have here a bit of a patterned box that is actually stacked books. And then I've overlaid here a notebook so that it kind of cues your mind, read and highlight. And this red notebook actually connects to this red day here. So then you see the red there and you know this needs to be done by the red day. So that's one way that color coding can kind of work in order to help you get a good visual read on a page and also understand how to visually connect information. Here's something else. This here, I've just drawn an arrow and then I've actually written the word "don't forget." So you don't necessarily have to have a planner sticker for everything. You can use just pen and write in certain ideas and things that you need to just bear in mind. And then I have a little bit of a checklist here. And the "don't forget" refers to the read and highlight. And this right here gives you all of the different things that go along with this task right here. One thing that does exist with people who commonly might have challenges with attention deficit is they might have a certain learning style that is called kinesthetic, meaning you need to have movement as a way to process information more effectively. If you find that you are an individual who does something like you take a pen and you kind of like tap it, or you tap your feet, or you find that when you're studying or when you're trying to do something for sustained attention that you automatically move around, then you might be a kinesthetic learner, someone who needs movement in order to help you to process information more effectively. There's nothing wrong with being a kinesthetic learner. A lot of athletes are actually kinesthetic learners, and all it is it has to do with the fact that you process information in a certain sort of way. A way to deal with being a kinesthetic learner instead of working against it is actually to do something like chew gum while you're trying to read or while you're trying to plan. If you are a kinesthetic learner, and you can go and Google this and even do a little bit of just some very, very light and informal diagnostics online by taking like quizzes. If you discover that you're a kinesthetic learner, then what you can do is you just need to find something where you can employ action and motion while you're trying to process information. So if you have an exercise ball, you can bounce on the exercise ball while you're trying to read, or even while you're trying to listen, like if you have an audio book. So there's another bit of kind of information. But the reason why this kind of works with the read and highlight is because it forces you to move your eye down in order to see this information. Me personally, I do struggle with ADHD, And I'm also a kinesthetic and a tactile learner. Tactile means I need to be able to pick things up and put things down, and I need to be able to feel things, which is another reason why actually planner stickers are really, really great for people who are something called tactile learners, which again means that it really, really helps you if you can feel things. It helps to actually, because it employs one of the 5 senses. You have touch, taste, smell, hear, and see. Those are your 5 senses. Anytime you can actually engage your 5 senses, like the more senses that you can actually engage when you're trying to process information or commit it to memory, the more likely you are to be able to actually do that successfully. The way that memories are actually formed and the way that they're able to kind of stay with you is with sensory data. Sensory data has to do with the 5 senses. So if you are studying, if you can make, the more you can do to make studying or planning a more full sensory kind of an experience, like and this might sound kind of bizarre, but using aromatherapy. So then what you do is you engage the sense of smell. Using planner stickers, that engages the sense of touch. You can even chew gum, which would engage the sense of taste. The more senses that you can engage when you're trying to do something that requires you to process information, the better that you actually might be in order to remember those sorts of things that you're trying to kind of take into yourself. Whether it's you trying to do effective planning so that you can remember when things are actually due and not have to feel like you are totally and completely beholden to your planner, like you have to have it with you all the time. It's not bad for you to always bring your planner with you, but I know that for me, I have to write everything down, and I sometimes don't remember what I write down, and then I kind of feel like I'm stuck having to carry my planner with me everywhere or get it out constantly, and that's just really, really frustrating for me because I kind of feel like if I write things down, then I want to be able to remember them instead of feeling like I constantly have to go back and kind of read things. So there's that. So back to this, and I'm sorry I kind of keep looping back and forth, but I wanted to give you kind of background information about being a kinesthetic and like tactile learner. The reason why this is a little bit kind of tactile and kinesthetic is because when you run your fingers over it, then you kind of employ the feeling of the stickers. You can feel just the texture of it, and doing that might actually help you to remember what is written there. Like I said, I know that sounds really, really bizarre, but you can actually look up all this information with like brain science or how memories are formed, things like that. What I have here is I have a list of all of the different items that are going to need to be used for this here. I know that for me, I used to always forget materials that I might need to do a certain task. So by actually writing down what materials and even how long it's going to take, that can really help you to accomplish certain goals that you have in your planner. Just very, very explicitly writing down verbatim. You need to do reading and highlighting because this is red for the red day. And don't forget that to do that, and again, this is red to connect with that. Don't forget that you need to have 2 highlighters, your notebook, and it's going to take you 15 minutes in 2 increments. So that's a little bit of like kind of how that all works. This right here is a little bit of a doodled and handwritten drawing that says show teacher's agenda and double check. The reason why I wrote this here is because being a former classroom teacher, I know, and also working alongside teachers, that if I could see that a student was advocating for themselves and trying to kind of champion and take responsibility for their own learning and be empowered by it, I was so much more inclined to be able to compromise and kind of negotiate due dates and things. So as a student, please, please, please don't ever think that it is a bad thing for you to do something like go to your teacher and show them your agenda and say, I just want to make sure that I have all of the due dates that I wrote down correct. Could you do me a favor and just very, very quickly give this a read and tell me if I have it all right? Like, ask the teacher to double check your agenda, so then if you have any due dates that are recorded in a way that aren't actually right, then what you can do is you can immediately get that corrected, and then you get a little bit of a double bonus because the teacher sees that you are making an earnest effort to try and contribute and invest in your own academic achievement. And then if something ends up happening somewhere down the line where you have to ask for extensions and things, the teacher is going to be so much more inclined to offer you that grace because they saw that you were trying to prepare even here, like at the beginning of the week. The next thing here in this column is color code your notes. Studies have proven that by using a minimum of 4 colors, that is honestly kind of like the magic number for color coding. So those 4 colors can be any colors that you want them to be, but you should always try and work with a minimum of 4 colors when you're doing something like color coding notes. This last here little checklist is one that says get backpack ready, lunch tomorrow. The reason why that's written there is because, and I didn't show this or I didn't point this out to you in the last video, is I have this is divided up by day, and then additionally it's divided up by row. The top row is for today, so that is any sort of thing that is a discrete time frame that you have to commit yourself to, like these things are all today, do not forget. Important, this stuff kind of goes along with that. And this right here, the remember row, this has to do with things that occur after all of these things are taken care of, and that connects right back up here. So when you get through this here, this gets you ready for the next day. So we're gonna go ahead and stop there on Tuesday, and we will pick up where we left off here, do a little bit of recap in the next video, and then we'll just continue on with Wednesday and Thursday. And it's a lot of information, which is part of the reason why I'm kind of breaking this into kind of smaller videos, but I hope that what I shared with you today was helpful. So that's it for today's video. I hope that what I had to share in this video was helpful to you. People left some really great comments in the last video, and I love the comments because it allows me to connect with everybody in a real one-on-one sort of a way. I do my best to actually reply to every single comment that is left, not just read them, but to actually reply. And I found that the comments have been really helpful for me because I've learned a great deal about planning and about different ways that people plan, as much as I know that other people read the comments and they learn a lot from the comments. So if you ever have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, or if you just want to be a part of the discussion that is a little bit of just like an extension of the videos and any sorts of planning that ever is done, because I've done a lot of planning videos at this point, you should always check the comments just to see if maybe some questions that you might have were asked and I might have answered them actually in the comment sections, or you might find that other people have started to have great discussions in the comments about planning and about troubleshooting things, and you might get your question answered just by reading the comment. Thank you so much for watching this video today. This is the second video in a series that is all on the topic of planning for parents and students and academic achievement, just kind of managing like busy kind of student schedule. I will put the link for the first video in the description of this video, and then I will also link the playlist that this video and then the previous video will be in so that you can watch all of them. If what I shared today was helpful, then please feel free to share it with others. Share it with other students, or share it with teachers you might know, parents who might need the encouragement and support to be able to partner more confidently with their own students and their students' teachers. Please don't be shy to share this video or the series with anybody who you feel like it might be helpful for. Part of the reason why I do these YouTube videos and so many about planning is because I'm very enthusiastic about planning, as much as I just kind of feel like if I have something to share that might help with someone else and what they're trying to do with their own planner piece, or just trying to like navigate kind of the murky waters of learning how to do things like planning, because it is a skill. It's actually something that has to do with something called executive functioning in educational psychology. Well, I do these videos for the purposes of sharing and helping. So that's it for this video, and thank you so much for watching it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next daily video that's going to be, like I said, connected to this one and on the same topic as this one and the one before this. So thank you so much for watching today. I look forward to seeing you in the next daily video. Bye!